Ooh.
That's fucked up. Yeah. Well, we'll cut that out. Hey, Jesse, cut that out, please. Wait, what's our podcast producer's name?
A fun Stoichu.
Stoichu. I was thinking something more like Atlas.
Ooh, I mean, I do prefer that.
Hey, yo, Atlas. All right, I'm just putting your goals here.
Yep.
Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah. How many you got? You got 11. Mate, you change the format of your goals every fucking time, dude.
Yeah.
First there's bullet points, and then it's fucking sections, and then god damn, you got arrows now. Oh my god.
I actually think this structure will be quite helpful for me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I took a break last week. What was the yeah, or last week I took a break because a lot of events happened in my life that kind of derailed my. Wait, what was your score?
From last week, 10.5
Yeah.
out of 12.
Damn, dude, that's pretty good. Let me put that shit in. So yeah, you basically that was your week.
Dude,
10
it's such
point.
a troll, though, dude. It's like the goal that I lost a full point on. The only goal I lost a full point on was reading one paragraph per day.
That's crazy, bro.
It's
You could have
not hard, bro.
literally just read the label on your shampoo when you went to shit.
I know, dude. It's just not difficult, bro. It's just not difficult.
That's crazy. All right, 10.5 out of 12. Very good. I took a break last week because, and I'll put the score because I technically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points out of 20. But yeah, I took a break. You know,
You got to
is
fix
that
your lighting, bro.
really, is it that bad? I can't move this. Is that better?
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happened last week. I think the biggest one is my grandpa passed. Um, which I wasn't super close with him or anything like that, so it's not like it affected me deeply, but it affected my dad a lot. And I think knowing that my dad is in a delicate health position right now is definitely, you know, um, it was weird. Hold on, let me get a couch. Hold on. All right, this should be better. But yeah, I think knowing that my dad is in a tough health position made it weird. Um, and seeing it's always weird seeing your dad sad. Um, so I had to go home, spend some time with my dad, um, comfort him, and I think one of the most a memorable moment this week was I was telling my friend, my good he went to Williams. He's a manager here now. I was just telling him, about what happened and how it was making me feel kind of weird. Um, and he was like, because his father passed away a few years ago, and he told me that being a son is one of the most beautiful experiences in the world, you know, because you have a man who wants you to be better than him in every way, you know,
Damn.
he wants you to surpass him. And that shit just made me think, man, like, yeah, I mean, I have friends, um, I have little brothers, I have, I guess you could say mentors, sort of, or people I just connect with, but nobody wants more for me than my dad as a man, you know?
Mhm.
And it just made me think, man. Made me ponder a lot. But yeah, so that's why this week was just a little bit chalked for me. Um, Life happens sometimes, and that's okay, and that's we have things to be grateful for. Um, but yeah, this week I definitely want to get back into it. I think honestly, I think I might change some of these things because if I
Hmm.
really want to, um, I guess update, right? Like this is 99% my last week here doing this sales job because I did not meet quota. I'm supposed to get 3 deals closed this week, and so um, it's probably it's definitely my last week. So that means I'm gonna go back home with my family and just focus on studying for my final exams at the end of the year with Yale. Um, so I think things are gonna be very different. I'm gonna have a lot more time to study, to read. Um, but yeah, and I think that's better. I think in the long term, that's better. I have more time to work on my resume and look for jobs, sort of prepare myself for what's next. And I also get to be home, with my dad, with my family. They've all been going through a tough time these past few months. Um, and yeah, I think I think it's for the best. I think it's for the best. That being said, like I guess dedicate some time to a project. I think I'm gonna take that one out just
Hmm.
because I'm probably not gonna have the bandwidth for that this week since I want to, knock doors this week.
Yeah.
I think everything else should be okay though. I definitely did not start the day in the best note today. Um, I woke up early. I went to the gym, but I was supposed to get up earlier and read. Um,
Mm.
and I was supposed to listen to an audiobook in the gym, but I didn't do that. So, um, yeah, I'm just gonna put read 2.5 hours 4 times instead of five.
Uh-huh.
Um, I can take quick showers for sure. Gym is good. No snooze. I fucked that one up today, but it's okay. We still have an opportunity. I have gym 5 times and then gym 3 to 4 times. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 goals. That seems good for this week.
Yeah, I just cut out. I lost connection for a second. Which two did you take out? You took out dedicate some time to a project, and what else?
And I had an extra one that was redundant because it's I had gym 5 times, which makes no sense because I already have gym 3 to 4 times.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
I could even put fuck it. I'll put gym 5 times. Maybe make it a little bit harder. But yeah. Um, I really like reading the life sheets. I recite the poem every time I start out with my head bowed. And then when it gets to the part where it says, my head is bloody but unbowed, then I raise my head, still
Yeah.
my eyes closed. And then I get to the part where it says, so I will smile when I arrive indomitable to the door. And then a smile comes up. And then I get to the part where it says, I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. I open my eyes and I read those 2 lines. And it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. Um, Anyway, I feel like I'm going in circles. Yeah, so this week, here are the goals. Um, I need to get that resume done and send it to Emma, who's helping me. She's somebody who's helping me out. Reading, quick showers, gym, no snooze, creatine, minimize the bad habits, read life sheets,
Hmm.
knock doors hard, no regrets. I don't want to feel like could have gone a little bit harder. And yeah, prepare for what's after. If I am gonna go back home, well, I am gonna go. I need to start accepting it, right? I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back home by next week, so I just need to prepare for what that's gonna look like, and be ready for those things. And then, yeah, I definitely want to give you notes on the channel. That's something I really want to do. Um, you know I'd like to insert a little bit of some thoughts into the description of the channel. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, what you have is beautiful. Um, but yeah, so those are my goals for this week. Um, we can definitely talk a little bit more about. I guess we can just talk. If I have anything to talk about for this past week, it would be um, being excited for change. What it means to prioritize. What it means to have to sacrifice things for family. I think
Yeah.
that's something that often takes a lot of space in my mind. Um, but yeah, so those are that's kind of what I can talk about. And I guess going forward for this week, it's gonna be simple week. It's not gonna be anything complicated. Um, yeah,
Well, I don't think I'll add too much, just because when you take the week off, right? It's not too much to say about the preceding week.
yeah,
Um, right. I'll just say sort of something that I've mentioned earlier, right? Which is I just think it's, it's a good week to have taken off in retrospect. Actually, I didn't say this earlier, right? But it's a good week to have taken off in retrospect, because now this week is a transitory period, right? So you
yeah,
had a bit of time to think, and I'm honestly looking forward to seeing much more success and goals now in the coming weeks, now
yeah,
that your
yeah,
life will be more aligned with the things that you actually would like to be doing,
yeah.
right?
And I think for last week, I'll put the goals for last week, yours and mine. I had a goal which you told me to put. It was ruminate deliberately, and I did do that. So I got some things done last week,
Mhm.
but yeah, so that was good. Go,
Good.
yeah, that was all I wanted to
No,
add.
no, 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 no. So I'm just cheesing, bro. I'm just cheesing. That's all.
But yeah, how was your last week? You got a lot done. You did not read one paragraph a day, which is crazy. Um,
Yeah.
how did you make 350?
I'm in.
Shit, what did you do,
I have.
Steven?
So Rule 34.
What did you do? Rule 34.
Well, I have a Patreon where
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
I make, using Gen AI, custom images of video game characters
Wait,
and
you're kidding.
stuff.
You're kidding, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because people make money from that. People do make money from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There, I just don't. I think there is probably a lot of money to be made, but
Oh, yeah.
I think if this is the sort of content that I was feasting my eyes upon for like 4 or 5 hours a day or more, I think just I would degenerate,
Yeah.
into, into a pool of cum. So, so no, no, it's not that. So, I have good connections at this company that helps train AI models, and this
Damn.
week they onboarded me for a new
Wow.
project. So, yeah, it's pretty good. You can make $10 like every 1 to 10 minutes, depending on how easy the
Wow.
task is. So you don't have to do too much to succeed. So fortunately, that was reopened, because the last project I was on is closed, and I was part of a small trial run, and they quite like the results, and so they're going to make it a more official big thing. I
Damn.
don't know what sort of changes they're instituting. Hopefully, they're not making it pay less, because I was kind of money glitching.
Yeah.
When you can make $10 in a minute, right? You can sort of money glitch a little bit. So they might change the rules a bit, but the project's still fun. So I'll probably continue on that just a little bit, because I got this magical thing called a credit card, and so I've just been going,
No, dude.
so,
No,
so I gotta
no.
make a. Yeah, well, we had a costume party here on Friday. I Alicia and I, we put a lot of effort to have this very intricate party, and I had like some
Oh.
savings from my time in Amsterdam, and just between like buying Alicia's costume and like the party supplies, I just went. So you know,
What did you
I
guys
had to
dress
put
up
this
as?
one. It was a Pirates and Cowboys party.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So there's this house. I mean, we're in Amsterdam, right? So this student house, there's a canal pond right here, and there's like an
Mhm.
island in the middle, and the neighbors had at one point sailed out to the island. And like sail, it's like 10 seconds of sailing, right? It's just you just
Mm,
people are a bit averse to swimming because the water doesn't really move, you know.
yeah.
But they sailed out there, they like planted this blinking solar powered light, you know, and so they just like conquered that island, right? And so this happened like 6 months ago. And so this house has always been talking about conquering the other island, right? And nobody was actually doing it. And on a separate note, so that's just one data point. And another data point is I was talking with some of the housemates here about these, you know, pretty epic. If I'm gonna just be straightforward, parties that I threw at Oxford.
Mhm.
You know, right, using building Bluetooth controlled staffs and 50,000 pound screen for spell effects, and you
You
know,
did that?
I wrote a custom rap song for the yeah. It was a crazy and there's an even more crazy party, but I probably can't you know talk about it on the podcast.
Okay.
Maybe at some point, but but yeah, you know, and this was just a huge success, right? And the thing was, is we had to go a bit crazy. Um, because this was the first year that that college had a physical location at Oxford, right? So you want to make an impression. And on day one, this guy came up to me. I just met him in the kitchen, and he's like, "This is a new college. We're taking over this college."
Uh-huh.
And you know, 8 weeks later, we had this epic party, and
Did
after
he
that, they
say it
just
with a
kind of
British accent?
yeah, of course, he's British. He's a British
Oh,
dude.
wow.
Very interesting. He has like this mustache. He has like
Oh,
platinum mullet, you know. So he's just like a very
wow.
interesting character, you know. And you know, we did this thing for the college, and then you know, we had very good rapport with the college, and they allowed us to do crazy things. Anyways, you know, the point is I was telling them about this history of throwing quite nice parties, and so I was just like, oh, dude, it's kind of sad that I like never did it here. And then I was like, wait, I have one more weekend here. Why am I doing this gloomer mentality? Like, I'll throw this party. And the idea was like, okay, well, I want to throw a party. These guys always talked about conquering this island before leaving, and they never did. So I was like, okay, I'll just throw a pirates themed party and we'll go over there. And then I started talking with some people, and they liked this one girl here. She liked this idea of pirates and cowboys, and things started cooking. And
Yeah.
in the end, what I did was what Alicia and I did was you either came as a pirate or a cowboy, and you were split into factions. So there were two teams at this party.
Yeah.
And then we had a gauntlet of 7 challenges. So,
Okay.
you know, each team would compete against the other team in a scavenger hunt, a game of Pong, game of Rage Cage, Don't Drink and Drive, and Mario
Rage
Kart.
Cage. Mario
Yeah.
Kart.
Yeah, we all when you paid for your when you got a drink, because I made a bunch of different drinks like the Havana Harlot, we called it, which is just a pina colada, and things like this. You had to pay with information. So the first drink that they got, they had to give us a secret, and so later in the party, there was like we'd pull out at random someone's secret and have two people from each team try to guess first who you know had the secret. So like a series of games.
Damn, you
The
did
I
all that?
yeah. But wait, it gets better. So you
Whoa.
we we why the games? Well, what we did was we created a map of the area, but piratified it. So it looks like this.
What? How
Uh,
did you do that?
I went into I have a Krita on my computer, which is an art software plus Gen AI to build this. And so this is kind of a I could show you like the map in real life, but this is kind of what it looks like. You see, here's the pond with the 4 islands. Here's where they live. Here's the
Wow.
store. And so what I did was I took this map, which is very quality printed, and it only cost me like €2.80 to make 4 of these. I took this, I ripped it into 4 pieces, burnt the edges, right? Or burnt the edges first, ripped it into 4 pieces, and then every challenge you assembled a piece of the map. You got a piece of the map for winning the challenge. So like the first part might have just been this, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
nobody
yeah.
has any idea what they're building at first. And then they would like have built this, and then maybe like this, and then lastly,
Wow.
they get this part, which is the critical part to understand what they're doing. Here, we had the name of the town we're in, but piratified, and then when they got this piece, there was an X marks the spot on the island. So the team that won 4 challenges first then had a fully assembled map, right? And then they were like, holy fuck, this is Island Steady. You motherfuckers, you put treasure on that island. How did you do it? And they're
Uh-huh.
like, how the fuck are we going to get it? And so I actually put the treasure on that island. They were correct. And so then once they assembled the map and they're like, fuck, we got to go to the island, I pulled out 2 floaties and they inflated the floaties. And then 2 people swam on the floaties to the island, which is covered in tall grass, taller than you. They went through it, they found the
Well,
treasure, and they brought it
not
back
too tall.
home. And then that was the climax of the party. And then we just chilled.
What was the treasure?
It was a bag. It was a golden bag, mostly full of garlic. But I needed garlic to weigh it down. But then just we bought like some fake gold coins at the costume shop. So
Wow. It's interesting because it wasn't about the treasure. It was about the
right,
treasure, but it wasn't about the value of the treasure. It was about finding it just for fun.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I think we could go down into a lot of different, well, I guess two inquiries. Maybe not for now, but number one, I wonder why you love throwing parties so much. I like organizing, community events, but a party's different. Party is not like a
Yeah,
gathering. And then also, I guess the stuff about the treasure, that's interesting. But so all in all, your credit card is fucked.
well, no, my credit card is infinite money. My debit
Oh
card is
fuck.
fucked.
Shit, dude.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll make
so
I'll make more money though. It doesn't matter. I
what?
wanted to do this.
Yeah,
This
you're
was
right.
really important
You're
to me.
right. What's this? Okay, so that was make 350. Um, I guess we can't talk about everything, right? But I guess I'll ask, what is apotheosis, rumination, transcendence? Are these just like Smash Brothers titles, or like?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, 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 no. It's I had a interview with a firm, uh, with and the acronym of these words and the actual name of the firm are the same. And so that just meant do well. And I had to.
ART.
It's a hedge fund, right? I had to speak with the founder. It was like a round 4 interview, so this was like prepare and
Oh,
execute on this. This for this week, I did it much more English. I just had prep and execute for today's interview rather
yeah.
than this crazy Super Smash Bros. Apotheosis. But
Wow. And that was today. That was
yeah, that was
today.
today. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, but again, you're not really okay. So apotheosis, rumination, transcendence was just preparing for this interview.
And trying to do well. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Now, I mean, I don't know if it's worth even like discussing this, but why not read one paragraph per day?
No, no, no. I think actually this might be worth discussing because it's like the easiest thing on my list, right?
Yeah,
Um, I think the issue comes down to not this issue of like goals and hunger, right? It's like I think mentally, and I realized something about the way that I set goals and conceptualize what I'm doing yesterday. Because yesterday I went and sat by the canal and was walking around until like 5 a.m. trying to think about stuff. And I think the sort of issue is there is like the goals. Maybe when I set it is something like this would be an ideal me, but then I don't like go actively every day being like, oh, like I have to read.
yeah,
If I was like remembered that like, oh, I want to be a reader, like there would be
yeah,
no problem doing it. It's not difficult. I just like forget. And you see, the only other goal where I didn't score full points on is looking at goals daily. Like if I looked at them,
yeah. Look at the
like I would
map.
do them. If I looked at the map, well, actually looking is not enough,
Look at
but
the
you have to
map.
like have it in here, right?
Oh,
That's the
okay.
issue.
So
Like I
looking
can
at the
look.
map is not enough.
No, 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 because otherwise I would have read, right? It wasn't. I just didn't have this constant thought like, "Oh, I wanna be a reader," right? It was just
Yeah.
like on Sunday, I was like, "It would be great if I read." But on the week, it
Yeah.
wasn't like, "Hey, I'm a reader," you know? That's, I think, the disconnect
Yeah, I think that's
caused
a
the issue.
very common problem or common obstacle is keeping the goals in mind, looking at them. Now that I think about it, I've definitely been guilty of like not looking at, like, in a way, like I take my goals and I make my Google Calendar accordingly so that I can achieve the goals. But yeah, I guess I haven't actively been looking at my goals either. Um, yeah, man, because you can have a commitment, you can make a covenant, whatever, but if you just forget, you know, you
Yeah.
just forget, you're doing other things or whatever. Um, so that is very important because it's not what you know, it's what you're reminded of. It's not what you
Mm,
remember, it's what you're reminded of. That's what really matters. Um, yeah. Well, it looks like it was a good week, dude. 10.5 out of
yeah.
12.
It was a good week. And I think that, like,
Yeah.
lesson about that goal and a half is sort of why I put the goals in a strange sort of way this week. Because I realized something interesting, like, I view the music and the creative stuff and basically anything that isn't quant as like goals, and I view the quant as a thing I have to do, you know?
Yeah.
And so when it was like, oh, we talked about you need one to two projects or something like that, I would not treat the quant thing as a project in my mind for some reason, even though it's like the biggest
Mm,
project I'm doing, right?
yeah.
To get so I realize that sort of mentality is inhibiting me because I mean, that is a project, right? I should view it as a project, something that I can make concrete progress on, not like, oh, okay, I like, here we go. I wake up, I'm going to do this again. It makes it much less exciting.
Yeah.
So I quite like the setup that I have for this week because you said you have to have 1 to 2 projects, and I would always have project zero, which was quant, which took up 90% of my time, right?
Yeah.
And then two other projects, and that didn't work. So this week, I actually view that as a project, and I made it
Mm,
very big.
okay.
And then I have a second project, the like quant project, and then the passion project building
Yeah,
this
what's
app, which
that?
is going to
What is
be
that?
very exciting. Ask me in 1 second. The last thing I'll just say about the goals for next week is, there's things I want to do, and then there's things I want to do in the interstice, right? With the space in between. I want the times when I'm not working on projects to be meaningful and to take advantage of the opportunities that I have. And so I put that there, and I think that this sort of structure will really help. And I think that these goals that I've put this week, instead of being vague like code, is it's very concrete. It's very concrete.
Mm,
So I'm very excited for this week. I think it should be. I got some motivation back from this interview I had today and how good
nice.
coding was going yesterday. The mental's good from making use of the opportunity from being here. I have a useful structure. I think it's going to be very good.
I like this quote, living in harmony with the knowledge.
Mm,
That's nice.
good.
Live in harmony with the knowledge that I know not when I will be in this place or with these people again. That's very beautiful.
Yeah,
What's
we just
this?
got to try to do it.
What's the app?
I was hoping you would ask. So, look, dude. Look, dude. Um, okay, give me a second. This is important. I realized that it's very simple, dude, but nothing's gonna happen unless you actually do it. And I met somebody that does things. So I met somebody here that um, is like he built an app. He
Oh
built an
shit, he
app that
going outside. He going outside. Oh shit. Oh shit.
yeah, boy. So look at this, dude. I met this guy. He built an app, which is like it's to help students study. So you can like upload all your PowerPoints and your course notes and so forth. And when you put it in there, it like generates a way for you to study like hyper effect efficiently,
Mm,
right? The and this dude has been working on this very hard for the time that I've known him here. Like I remember one day he woke up at 5 to take the because that day the German students had final exams.
Mm.
So he woke up at 5, took the bus across the border to Germany,
Mm.
went to the university and went into every bathroom and every stall and like put up stickers of his app in like all the stalls in the
I've
colleges there.
done that shit with my comedy
You know,
shows, dude. Yeah.
so you know, and he's been
Surprisingly
working on this for a
effective.
while. It
Surprisingly
is
effective.
surprisingly
Yeah.
effective, right? Yeah. So for this reason or whatever other reason, his app just went viral. Uh, um, right? Like there was some Reddit post that I haven't asked him how many upvotes it has now, but in like 2 hours, it already had like 500 upvotes, 100 comments, like somebody talking about the app that he had built, right?
Yeah.
And like it just went so crazy that his servers couldn't handle it. He had to upgrade the servers and everything. And so he's finally, he's seeing the success he's been working very hard for. But he built something, right? He's not an AI genius, right? But the thing he told me is he's like, dude, with all the technology out here, like if you have a good idea, you can just build. You can
With
just build.
AI, yeah. Easily, yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to know how
So
to use the AI, but yes.
right. And so for the app, dude, I'm just gonna build the weeklies app this week.
You're gonna build it?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I This guy he told me he'll mentor me this week before I leave. He'll just show me. He's like, dude, we can sit down and we can just work on it until you have an app.
Really?
Yeah,
Fuck. Okay, okay. Um, I want to help. I don't want to be. I want to be. I mean, like, if I can help with anything, I'm not very tech savvy, and I have a lot of stuff going
yeah.
on here. But
Well, look, I think the important thing is, part of me was like, dude, let me just build this, and then for the next week when we get on the call, I'm like,
oh,
here's
I
We're gonna put the goals in here, and it would have been crazy, right? But I was like partially tempted to do that, but then I was like, okay, well, this is our sort of thing, and you know, we should get your input. So I'm like, it'd be good, I guess, to talk about what we'd want to see in this, right? Like what
yeah. Wow.
functionality we'd actually want to have, what UI. Like you don't have to code anything. I can do all the code with him, but right, if you have ideas for the sort of features that you would want, the sort of user interface that you would want, and I can share my preliminary ideas, or you can just jump in with
I mean,
your thoughts. But in
ideas.
any
Yeah,
case, there
yeah,
should
for
be an
sure.
outline before I sit down with him, right?
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. Do we want to talk about it now? I think it'll be an interesting exercise to like codify, to articulate what we would want out of
Yeah,
this app.
yeah,
Because look, if you need imagination and ideas, I definitely can help with that. I guess you can be my meta tool because the AI is your meta tool,
yeah,
and then you are my meta tool. Um,
yeah.
I mean, this kind of takes us back to like the first episode we did, which we need to start posting these. That is my responsibility. All I would need is actually probably to get a new computer, um, to edit. Anyway, okay. So do we want to talk about this now?
I'm building it tomorrow
Okay.
morning.
All right. Well,
So
let's. I guess just to summarize, because now we're going to talk about the system itself. That should be an interesting conversation. Yeah. For next week, here are the goals for next week for both of us. For me, very simple. My last week here on this job. Let's see what I can make happen. And get ready for the big change, which is going back home and
yep.
being a bum. No, I'm just kidding. No, I have to have my shit together. And then for you, you basically went through this. So here are the goals for next week. We have 22 points. So, oh, look at that. We have 11 points. Okay, nice.
I like that.
I've been hoping for this for a long time, a evenly split week. So that's fun. Um, all right. So I guess, this all has to be in a structure of a week, right? We have to have a calendar. The app has to function like, I guess, chronologically speaking, week per week. So there has to be like a calendar. Like, this week is from here to here. These are the weeks. Um, and I guess we'll have to use the Christian calendar. Um, or we could use like the human calendar, which is, I think, it's the year like 12,000 or something. But that's a joke. Weekly. I guess we because we talked about incorporating some sort of AI, but maybe that's a little bit um later on. But I guess just the fundamental things is like we need to have a ability to implement the each goal, right? Um, just each goal. Like, hey, for this week, this is my goal, this is your goal. And I guess also we have to have a way for two users to connect to each other, right? To talk to each other, to sort of partner up, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yes, each week we have user A has a certain number of goals, user B has another certain number of goals. Um, I think it's important to choose I think it's a fun thing to like choose the symbols for the scores, right? Each goal, and this is towards the end of the week, right? At the end of the week, hold on. Okay, you know what I really like?
Yeah.
But I don't know if this would translate
Yeah.
nicely into like a phone. Maybe there's a way to visually do it in a more neat way. But what I do with like, I put the week, I put all the goals, and I put 7 squares, right? And each
Mm.
square can get a like a check mark, or I guess an X is for I did not accomplish it. Check mark is I did accomplish it. I put a horizontal line when it's just not the day to do the goal, you know, and I guess I can put a black dot if, I sort of achieved the goal, whatever. But maybe that's a little bit complicated. Um, this is just a way to track on a daily basis these goals. But if we're talking on the weekly scale, at the end of the week, we should be able to like put a check mark or an X or a black dot
Mhm.
or a star, right? And I would like people to be able to, I guess people can use their own icons for what they want, but I guess each icon should be designated a certain value, from 0 to 1.5. And we should be able to sort of change the goal if we want to make it double, right? Then I guess the values assigned to each icon changes. It's -1, you know, 2, whatever, 3. I don't know. Um, and obviously both users have to be able to add up their scores at the end of the week. Um,
Yeah.
and get a cumulative score, right? So I think that's just the basics of it, right? Like a calendar, a way to input the goals at the beginning of each week. Um, I would like a way to track the progress of the goals on a
Yeah.
daily basis.
Yeah.
Not not totally necessary for the app. I would like it to have that though, because if you want to make it something comprehensive and you know look at the map, right? That's a big
Yeah.
discussion we've had. Look at the map. um and then at the end of the week, um a way to add up the scores. We assign the values to the scores. That's the user comes in and has to like actually decide whether they accomplished it or not.
Yeah.
Or we can do that based on like, no, I don't think the daily progress should dictate the weekly score. I think the weekly score is something the user has to decide ultimately.
Yeah. I
um
agree.
but yeah, and so here's, I guess, the other big part, which is the communication, right? We can do it so that the app itself does not provide the platform for communication, for video call or audio call. It could, I guess, ideally it would, I suppose, ideally, we would do that. hold on. Saying ideally the app would provide a platform for communication, but maybe
Okay.
that's later on. I have no idea how any of this works, by the way.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
all of that sort of interface would be, I mean, I don't know anything, but I think that at least on the on a 1 week timeline may have to come later, right? Like my hope is just have a feature where you can at the very least put your goals in and then get a time series of your cumulative goals over time and
mhm.
be paired with someone somehow. Right.
What do you mean be paired?
Like there's probably something interesting to be done with some sort of proprietary matching system where if
Yeah, we
you know
talked
you put
about
your
that. Yeah.
profile in there and somebody else does and you'll get matched. But for right now, I don't think that's important, right? Like for right now, as long
Yeah.
as me and you can be interfacing
Oh,
on a
sure.
joint system, like if
Oh,
like
okay.
for right now,
Okay.
like if it's just like, hey, I
Just
sent
you and
you
me.
a text and like now since I've sent you a text, like now we're in like an invite. Now we're just here together, right? Like people can be matched later. I think for right now, just as long as me and you can be working on the same thing in the
Sure.
most bare bones way, I think
Yeah, yeah, I
it's
think that's a
enough, you know?
perfect thing to do. If we start out, we can figure out what we want, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, I think, eventually I would like to see the ability for a user to be matched with who somebody of their choosing in terms of like a friend of theirs. Like there has to be a way to like maybe each user has like a specific ID, etc. Right? But then
Yeah.
eventually, if you have somebody who's alone, I think it would be. I don't love this thing of like matching somebody with another person, but it's not terrible, I suppose.
I just you have if you have somebody who wants to come in the system and find a and like a stranger
Yeah,
as an
yeah,
accountability partner, I mean, you have to have some good way to do it, right? Some good way.
yeah.
I don't know because how else? Like, you can't. I don't know if you want to show them like every single profile, right? And they like
No,
scroll through and
yeah.
just
No, you
because then
have to have,
also, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yep, 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 yep. Then there's also the thing of like, you know, men are men. There's probably going to be
mhm,
a lot of people who want to be creeps. That's just inevitable. Um, yeah, I think we can. That's something to figure out later. This sort of way to match people. But I'd like to see. We talked about this as well when you first hop into the app. To have a sort of questionnaire. What sorts of ambitions? Are you an early riser, late sleeper? All these things about personality. And, there is an effective way of doing that. You can't just ask a bunch of random questions.
mhm,
And then the question is, okay, forming a profile for each user based on these questions,
mhm,
whether you want to have the questions on a scale from like, yes, yes, is it just yes no, or is it like from 5 to 0, whatever. um okay, what does that tell us? What is that, what are these answers going to tell us about what, how can we use this information about the
yeah,
answers? But maybe that's later on.
yeah. I'll
I
just
think.
say, just to leave you to think with something. I think the idea would be to for on that vein, which probably does come later, right? Like to think about with accountability partners, especially for you since you've had one before, right? You know, I mean, I'm an accountability partner virgin, but you're not. I mean, like, what sorts of things were like important for you, and what sorts of things did you not like, right? And this maybe would
Oh, that's
evidence
good.
something, right? Because I think for me and
Yeah.
you, the fact that you might have a goal to go and knock doors for a day, and I might have a goal to do some multimedia thing, even if, regardless of how successful that was, like that wasn't an issue, right? But
No,
that's
that's
like not an issue that
interesting.
the goals are not different, right?
Ah.
The important thing is that like there's this dedication and there's like
Yeah,
a
that and
level of
that's
ambition.
that's exactly what I think ideally the questions should measure.
Yeah.
Compatibility between two people, which is very weird because you need two users to figure out compatibility. So, um yeah, you're right. Having different goals is not um being in different industries is not necessarily um a what's it called, a deal breaker. However, I
Mhm.
do think you and I are compatible, right? We're similar
Yeah.
people in many ways. We're similarly ambitious. And when I say that, I mean, I guess maybe level of ambition. You know, there might be a user who is really focused on their physical health, who wants to improve their
Yeah.
physical health. There might be another user who wants to take their physical health to the next level. You might have a pro athlete, whatever,
Yeah.
right? So I guess that seems like something we really need to think about very deeply is,
Yeah.
how can two people be compatible? What I guess I was lacking in my other accountability partner is consistency. And they didn't seem to care that much as much about the system as I did. I for me it was like we call it this time, we do this is important. If we are stepping into this system, the weeklies, we both have to have a commitment to like when we're going to call, sending the goals, and so on and so forth. So that I enjoy with you, and we've had points where, we weren't on the same page, per se. But I think at this point we're pretty on point. And look, life
Yeah.
gets in the way. We're not always going to call at the same time. But in general, we do the calls on a specific day, either Sunday or
Yeah.
Monday. Monday now. Um, so I think the most important thing for two people to be compatible would be commitment.
Mhm.
And here's what I'll say too, Stephen, which is important. I hadn't thought about this. I'm invested in your success
Mhm.
because I know you, because we're friends and I know you.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean we have to be friends for a long time. It just means I have to care about you. If I'm paired up with a stranger,
Mhm.
I don't, I see it as a possibility that I'm not really gonna care,
Yeah.
you know? However, you can be paired with a stranger who ends up being really fantastic. I mean, proven point, this guy that I met just last week,
Yeah.
he's told me about himself, he's told me about his story, and I'm invested in this guy. Like I want
Yeah.
him to succeed. I want to help him. I want to see him happy,
Yeah.
and there is something there that is hard to articulate.
Yeah.
Maybe it's narcissistic, and maybe it's like, hey, I see myself in this guy in many ways. His mother has health problems, he has musical ambitions, he likes writing. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
I care because that's stuff I care about.
Yeah.
Maybe that's narcissistic, but maybe that's
Mhm.
compatible you know um but bare bones, just a calendar, a way to write the goals, a way to score the goals, ideally, a way to track progress on a daily basis. Um, and then ideally as well, a I don't know if it would be possible to like generate a Google Meet link or whatever. I think that would be an issue, but at the very least, a way to schedule a call that we can do on our own. Because everybody has
Mhm.
WhatsApp, everybody has Wi-Fi, everybody has a computer, whatever, right? We
Yeah.
don't necessarily need like a proprietary communication platform, at least not yet.
Yeah.
Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else?
Uh,
And I guess
I
it's
want to see scores over time.
scores over time. Oh yeah, of course, of
That's
course, of course. Yes,
super
yes, yes,
important.
yes, yes. Scores over time. I mean, this is what I have right now, and it would be cool to. You know what I like about the scores?
Yeah.
Something I was thinking about. So we have, in reality, in a way, we have three scores for each week. We have your score,
Mhm.
my score, and our score.
Yeah.
I would like to see a sort of graph over time that, tricolored, maybe red, blue, purple, right?
Mhm.
That the blue is user A, the red is user B, the purple is user A and B, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that not only are you seeing both of you guys how you're doing collectively, but also seeing who is struggling more, you know?
Yeah.
And I would love to see this little graph over time. Um, and I guess the x-axis would be the weeks, and the y-axis would be the score, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would love that. That's yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. I'm going to mm, focus because I just don't know how difficult this stuff is.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do the daily cal yet because this is weeklies after all. If I
yeah,
have time, I will. But I think I like the calendar functionality in general. And in some sense, it's kind of, in some sense, captures this daily structure because at least you have an idea of what's going on in your day, right?
yeah.
Uh, although that will be the last thing I add. The first thing, is the right the goals and to be able to score them. Then I like the scores over time. And then of course this needs to be put together in such a way that two people can interface together. And then, if there's time for the other things, I can
I
do the
like
other things.
I like the personalization aspect as well. Maybe it's more down the
Personalization.
line, which means choosing the icon. Maybe I don't want a check mark. Maybe my check
Yeah.
mark is an eggplant. Whatever. Maybe my
Yeah.
star is a planet. Maybe my X is a skull. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I also like, being able to choose a color, for my profile. So that when I check my progress, I see where I'm at, and you choose your own color, and then
Yeah.
the cumulative score can be the combination of those two colors.
Ooh. Yo.
That seems pretty cool. And again, maybe it's unclear to me how specific I should be, but I want something colorful but not overwhelming when it comes to the
Yeah.
visual design of the app, but we can talk about that. What else? I mean, what else is super important? Um, some sort of thing that encourages communication between the two
Yeah.
users.
I was just thinking something similar, right? You need to make sure that there is actually weekly correspondence, whether this is like a notification or a internal way to send each other messages, right?
Internal, yeah, internal would be ideal. I'm not even sure if on the weekly thing, yes, internal should be nice. I think on a day to day, maybe we could have an option for internal text communication, but external should be okay. And I don't
Yeah.
think every pair of users is going to want to be like constantly every day texting.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's something to think about. What else? What else? What else? What else? And again, as I said, a way to like put the asterisk on the goal, meaning double. It's a double
Hmm.
whammy here. Um, oh, well, look at how you are structuring your goals, right? And look at how I'm structuring my goals. I am
Hmm.
pretty much structuring the goals the same way, which is bullet points. I do see a possibility for it shouldn't be that hard, right? I can have a bullet point, then I can have a dash, and I can have a letter, right? I don't think we should
Hmm.
have more than two layers,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I think, although you do, no, you have two layers. We have quant and then dashes, right, or arrows.
Yeah.
I think that should be good. More than that, it seems unnecessary.
Yeah.
We don't want to overcomplicate this thing. This is the beauty about the goals. It's simple,
Yeah.
you know? Um, but then, that also brings complications in terms of like, okay, I have the quant. I guess each dash is a goal. So I guess you can categorize, okay, you could categorize goals, like, hey, you know what? I have user A has just bullet points. User B maybe wants to have 5 bullet points under a certain category and
Hmm.
6 bullet points under another category. So that eliminates the necessity of like the dashes and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, I think just a way to categorize goals if necessary. Uh, Oh, and maybe a cool function to like give a title to the week, makes it
Mm,
interesting, right? I think we want to give
yeah,
people again to personalize um this experience, right? Give a little title to each week. Um but yeah, I think one of the biggest things here will be the matching system, because you don't want to be blowing through accountability partners, right? The goal would be to match to reduce that risk of like turnover,
yeah, exactly.
you know. But we also don't want to like alienate people who like maybe have smaller goals. Some person might be, hey, I want to get this fucking job at whatever,
Yeah,
Deloitte, whatever. And this other person might be like, hey, I want to step up to manager in McDonald's, both of which are good goals. There's nothing bad about that, but they're different. They're on different scales. Like user A wants to be president, user B wants to be a mayor, for example. I don't know.
yeah,
So that should be, yeah, that matching thing is going to be tricky.
yeah. I
That's
think
going to
that's
be tricky.
where, honestly, I think in the matching, that's going to be where the secret sauce lies, right? I think,
Yeah.
the system is wonderful, right? And I think this has really been working well for us. But if this application were to I think become something quite epic and perhaps somewhat known, right? Not in complete obscurity. The kind of IP would be in that matching system because the theory is here, right? We have a system that works. We have a scoring method that works, and people may be inspired to follow suit, right? But if they don't have access to somebody, or they just want somebody new to do the system with, then finding somebody that's compatible, right, invested in their success is going to be paramount.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be maybe structured like a dating app. Swiping, no, because that brings a whole bag of beans, or can
Yeah,
of beans, or can of worms. Maybe there's like the eHarmony thing where you can sort of scroll through profiles. I don't think that would be super useful because then you might have some users who have so much like demand and other users who have no demand, you know?
yeah. This is why I thought we'd just pair for them. And I liked your idea of the test. And if you could come up with a really good test and you just take care of the pairing, it's done. And you get like a trial period, right? In some sense. Like, yeah, I think that you shouldn't
Mm.
be forced to stick with somebody, but I think 1 week is not like one call is not enough, right?
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to learn about each other and start to become
I
invested,
think,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
you
And it
know,
would be cool. It would be even cool. Like, again, this matching system is a monster, I would say.
yeah,
But it would be cool to be like, hey, we found somebody for you. Before you even begin, let me introduce you to. And then they talk. And then at
oh,
the end of the call, if they both say yes, match has been made. If they
oh,
don't, then no match. We have to keep people's location private and all that stuff. And, um, if we want to have a way to keep creeps out, which to some degree might be inevitable, but um,
yeah. And
and
if you want that, then you're gonna have to have, I think, the ability to speak or something somehow. You're gonna have to connect them in some way where you don't have to give out your number, right? Because that's
yeah,
you can look
so
up someone's
that,
address via that, and you get
yeah,
the area code.
then you might need internal.
Yeah, or at the very least, it's like you can both we generate you a Google Meet link or something, right? Like, but it's just it can't be
Yeah,
right. They have to have some way to communicate that is
yeah,
internal to that
yeah,
just sets them on something
yeah,
external
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
anonymized.
Well, this
Yeah,
sounds so exciting, dude. This sounds so exciting. Um, yeah, that's a monster, dude. That matching system. It sounds fun though. It sounds really cool.
yeah,
And I think it is a monster, maybe, but maybe not. and insurmountable because we can begin to articulate what makes two people compatible. I think we can.
Yeah.
Um, I think we can. I think we can. I think we can.
Yeah.
The thing is translating that into code, I suppose. Um, but yeah, it's doable. It's very doable. Um, but yeah, I think something like that. This sounds great, and I think we can think about what an AI implementation would look like. It would be very non-invasive. I would say I don't want it to be like
Yeah.
the AI is doing a lot of the work. Again, we're living in a world where AI will be a thing, um, where AI is already a thing, becoming a thing. And I think whether it's sad or not, we have to find a way to live with it.
Yeah.
At least under under a capitalist logic. But I guess I love this system because it's in a way it is weirdly capitalist insofar as some of these goals might be capitalistic, make
Mhm.
money, get the job, blah, blah, blah. But in another way, it's also very socialist because
Yeah.
our scores together, one person can drag the other one down. And it's not about just leaving this partner. It's about, hey, let me help you up. Let me
Yeah.
pull the weight maybe for this week, but
Yeah.
I want to see you succeed. It's not this,
Yeah.
competitive, greed. It's more like, hey, we both want something similar.
Yeah.
What that axis of similarity is,
Yeah.
is a question, but I love this. This is cool. This is really. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I had a guy. He was in my unit, and he's been fired by now. But he saw me one day putting my goals down on my board,
Yeah.
and then I went to his bathroom one day, and he had written down weekly goals on his bathroom mirror. Yeah,
No way.
yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. So that was another proof that
Yeah.
this is possible. Because, dude, people are lonely, bro. People are lonely, and it's nice to have a friend. Somebody you could
Yeah.
just talk to and um, build something together.
Yeah.
So I think there is a world where this helps a lot of people.
Yeah. And yeah, it's building kind of contrary to the flow as AI, or I just not even AI. I just went to the startup event in San Francisco before coming to Europe. Dude, literally everything was AI, even things that just shouldn't be AI, right? Like
Yeah.
this one girl's like, so basically I'm building like AI friends for lonely people. And I'm like, dude, no,
Yeah,
no,
you
no, no,
told
no,
me
no,
about
no, no,
that.
no, no. You're not fixing your AI problem. And it's like, oh, I'm like, no, this is fucking stupid. And she's like, no, no,
Yeah,
no, but like my AI therapist that I built already really helps. I'm like, no, 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 no.
it's like
Like
yeah.
this is not the solution, right? Like because there's all sorts of
Jarvis,
troubles.
Jarvis, make her 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Make her 10 feet tall. There we go.
Yeah, I love this, dude. Well, yeah, I mean that actually captures right the main issue
Yeah.
with these sorts of
So
systems. I won't
yeah,
go into all that, but I think that give having this truly human system, right, where maybe the AI magic happens in matching, right, but
yeah.
beyond that, you don't really need it for anything.
No,
And this is just full human accountability to people becoming invested. And I love the idea of that, like we found a match for you, man. I maybe the app honestly, like, you almost have to prove your dedication in a sense, right? You can't just like hop on right away. You like
yeah.
sign up and we're like, dude, we send you an email. Like you sign up, you like fill out the form, you do the personality test. It's like we send you an email when we have someone for you, and then they come on, you have that initial chat or whatever, and already that suspense, I think, builds a little something.
That is
Uh
cool. We'll send you an email when we
right.
find somebody. That's
Yeah.
cool. I like that. Yeah, it feels cool, It feels, user A and B might have one dynamic. user X and Y might have another dynamic. I think as long as, and something important as well, as long
Yeah.
as the power dynamic is even, because I look
Yeah.
up to you in some ways, you look up to me in some ways. There's no sense of hierarchy here, I would say.
Yeah.
It's we are equals, we are even, which is also in a way anti-capitalistic. Um, and I don't want to have this thing of like you're competing against other groups of people. No, no, no,
Mhm.
no, no, no. This is you can have challenges. We can have like monthly challenges of like get 100%. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, but this is just about user A and user B. It's about friendship. I think at the end of the day, this is about friendship, and it's about having somebody to talk to and somebody who is invested in your success as much as you're invested in their success.
Yeah.
And I think eventually one last point is that, you'll have users that don't get along well eventually, or something happens, whatever. There might be a need to report a user, etc. That can be thought about, but it's important. It is important.
Yeah. Yeah. This is yeah. Yeah.
This is
A lot
exciting,
of
man.
things. Yeah.
This is cool.
Dude, and dude, and I think yeah, there's almost just no point in talking about this now, but it's kind of cool to dream at the
It's
same
cool to
time.
dream.
Like it would be cool, dude, to have, you have all the tabs to take you to your goals and
Yeah, man.
your you know time series and all that of your thing. It'd be cool to have like one more section a bit down the line where, there's some sort of like weeklies related, you know, content that could help people, right? This calls already help, but if we are able to have, I don't know, man, you know, Sam Altman, writes a little thing about how to get cracked, dude, and you just put it on there, right? And somebody can read that, like very very like related stuff that might help. This is
Yeah,
using
like a little section of like tidbits.
or success
I
stories, right?
don't like this sort of iconization, idolatry of like these big AI tech guys, you know. And yeah, again, these are very incredible individuals who have a lot of tools for success, for sure.
Yeah,
I just don't want this to be about a person or a group of people or a
yeah,
certain class of people, especially. I think I want this to
um,
be, I would even rather have like, hey, a monthly thing, submit a quote that means a lot to you. And this is
mm,
sent out to all users. And then we have like sort of team going through these quotes, from user whatever in a quote, you know?
yeah.
Or like yeah, that seems cool. But this thing about like I don't mean to shit down on your idea,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. No, 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 this is fair. This is fair. It's actually better if the things are like, I think, from users, because it's not about like becoming Sam Altman, right? It's about the fact that
no, no,
a
of
lot of
course
people
not.
have very similar struggles that are not, so much talked about, right? Like just difficulty, like, getting up when you want to, or like difficulty
Yeah,
adhering to the thing. I
yeah,
need to
dude.
be, yeah. So much better to collect, I guess, wisdom and quotes and
Yeah,
success stories
from the
from people that
crowd.
have gone through it.
The best kind of wisdom is the crowd's wisdom, I would say. Man, I could stay another hour, but I should get going. I have to shower
Yeah.
and eat and take a shit and battle my
Yes.
urges to masturbation. Um, what a call, man! This is fun. We need a name. Oh,
Yeah.
I had an idea for the name, but maybe given how this thing ended up, maybe ah we might want to take it in a different direction. I was thinking it's not enough to look at the map, or maybe it's not enough to look.
Mm.
But well, what do you think?
Um, I mean, Yeah, I mean, I actually quite like that kernel because it's true, and it fits in with sort of the things that I was thinking about when I was like, "Oh, all this ideation about cool things versus actually
Yeah.
building." So I don't know, there could be
Yeah,
something about
so
it's not enough to
yeah.
look, time to build. I don't know, it's not enough to dream, act. I don't know. It's not enough to
Maybe
look.
oh, you're gonna like this.
Yeah.
The map becomes the blueprint.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. I like this. I like this because I was gonna think of something like, it's not enough to have the map. You just got to start going. But I
That's
think
too
map is
long.
blueprint. Like, oh yeah, I know it's too long, but that was the sort of
Oh,
idea, right? Like the pirate map's only useful for the knowledge, but getting to the treasure is different. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I like this idea of map and blueprint
Oh,
or
wait, wait,
something.
wait. The
Yeah.
map doesn't tell you how to build the ship.
Yeah. I bet.
I
Let's
kind of
decide it.
like that one more.
Yeah.
The map doesn't tell you how to build the ship. Um, yeah, because yeah, or we could go with something of your style, like watch out for the mental, for the mental.
Yeah, okay, let's go with that one. Let's go with that one.
Fuck no. What is it? The map doesn't tell you or doesn't show you how to build the ship,
Yeah,
and I think it's a as a little tip of the hat to your little party.
yeah, I like that.
All right,
Tip of the
dude.
pirate hat.
What a conversation. This is great.
Yeah,
I'll give you notes about the channel and give me some patience with uploading the videos. I need to get another computer because I've tried using
yeah.
Adobe on this computer and it just crashes every time. But that
That's
shouldn't
fine
be, yeah, that shouldn't be too
because you
long.
have some minor edits to do. You have to make sure the volume is equalized because you don't want to have
Uh,
things going like this,
yeah, no, I think the volume is fine. I'm more, and I know how to use Adobe. I can insert the. I have every single goal that we've ever had.
Mm.
So maybe skipping over bad words, like this joke that I had in the beginning about Mossad. Uh, anyway, I'll probably have to blurt that out. All right, buddy. I'm gonna get the day started or the day
Sounds good.
continued. I'll see you next week.
All right. Until then,
All right,
good
hold
luck,
on.
sir.
Let me see if it works.